Can you survive a wildfire by hiding in a bath? I'm gonna guess no, because the water will heat up and boil you alive. But let's see what I Did a Thing has to say about that. I'm Mistic and welcome to Mistic Rex. Let's get on into it and check out his video down below.
How you going? Check out
I'm
this
good.
tree and see if you can spot something I didn't before I
It's
bought this
burned.
place. It's burnt.
Yeah.
Every single tree here is burnt.
I
And
only
that's real
half
bad.
of it.
As some idiot made all of them out of wood. You know what's also made out of wood? My new house. So what am I going to do
no.
if a bushfire does rip through the property? Or even worse, what if there are marauders?
Oh.
Could I survive by hiding in your normal household objects like
No.
your bathtub? Or am I just cooked?
Yeah, you're cooked. I did a thing.
Alright, now I'm picking 3 things to attempt to survive in. And the first is the bathtub. And it makes sense if you don't think about it very hard. It's made out of steel, it's wet, and it contains space. And there was a really interesting article published by a fire coroner that showed that around 50% of people that die in their house are located in their bathroom and even the bathtub. And I don't think that's because they were dropping their kids off at the pool when the fire came through. It's probably because it feels like the safer room filled with less flammable objects than my garage.
It'll be high there
So I'm going
during
to do the
tornadoes
best case
and stuff.
scenario and get a cast iron bathtub filled with water and then put a wet towel on top. My flawed logic here is if water filters smoke in a bong, surely it will work with a wet towel in a bath. Next we got your fridge. Well, not your fridge. I couldn't work out where you live. I'm getting the exact fridge from the Indiana Jones movie where Harrison Ford hid in it and survived a nuclear blast and then got shingles. And fridges are a pretty common movie escape trope, but I'm not sure there is anything safe
I
about them.
haven't seen that
They
many
are covered in
movies.
toxic plastic, have a compressor, and are usually filled with stinky fish.
Ugh.
Then for all you Americans, we have a fireproof gun safe, and it's got walls made out of steel and gyprock, which is meant to insulate it and keep the temperature under 150 degrees. And this sounds a lot better than a fridge, but I don't know,
still
because
pretty
even
hot.
if you don't die from the heat, unlike the guns in the safe, you need oxygen to survive. And to make this test slightly scientific, I'm going to put a thermometer in each with an oxygen and a CO2 reader, so we all know exactly how effective they are. But first, I'm going to do a small scale test. And this ain't looking good for the mini bath, as after only a minute of this tiny house being on fire, the water was already boiling. But maybe it'll be different with a bigger bath. For the fireproof safe, I made this block, which is gyprock mined straight from the source, some felt, and then sheet metal. And this is pretty promising. I kept this flame against it for like 10 minutes, and the heat inside didn't go up at all. And inside is cold. But I don't think we learned anything from this small test, except not to give a 3-year-old a powerful laser.
Okay.
Which means I need a real house to burn. Heads, I burn down this house. Tails, I need to make one.
Yes.
So the first step in building a house is
Okay,
getting 2
Mickey.
mates to do all the work. Dan and Liam. Dan builds houses for hippies in the mountains, and Liam is a professional architect with a YouTube channel. Mates that have different names will also work for building a house. So if anything goes wrong, we all know who's at fault.
Right.
And at first I thought I'd spend $1,000 on wood, but why would I do that when I can buy a $2,500 chainsaw and then spend an hour ruining the bar to make an Alaskan mill, which allows you to turn anything wooden into more wood?
Makes sense.
You know what they say, give a man a stinky fish and he'll eat it, but give a man a chainsaw and he'll be eating stinky fish for life. But I did forget that the wood of this tree is still very wet, and the same with the giant gum tree that fell down on the property. So this ain't going to make good building material or burn very well. So instead we stole the neighbour's trailer and headed down to the local tip.
Alright, let's jack it up and take it.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, you can't really hide in a dunny though. Maybe you could hide a baby in a dunny. And after almost getting into a fight with a man about a hoe...
Is that what they call a
You got the
toilet?
hoe?
A dunny?
That's fine.
Yeah. Oh, hose on the house. Enjoy your hoe.
We somehow got everything we needed to burn, including a Chubb fireproof safe, a fridge, and a cast iron bath, all from one tip. Unfortunately, the tip didn't have much good wood though, but we met some tradies who gave us some free concrete formwork. So then we pointed at a plan and worked out that the tradies' wood was not going to be enough. So we also had to buy some pine for the walls and frame.
Beep, 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 beep.
And we tried to get the untreated stuff, but there is still some pretty nasty chemicals in plywood, similar to cigarettes. And I mean exactly the same as cigarettes.
Ooh.
And we are kind of just making our own version of an IKEA burnable house, where we pre-make all the walls in the neighbor's garage and then hopefully can just walk them over and nail them in place. And the first wall looks like a floor, but that's because it's on the floor and not on the wall.
Right.
Then the other walls came together perfectly.
Oh.
So once we had a big stack of walls, we moved on to the floor, which we were going to make in one giant piece.
Ow.
And I can't tell you how long I've wanted to use one of these.
I wonder how
Like
many
legally,
blisters
I've
he
signed an
gets.
NDA and I can't. But it's my new favorite tool. And it's crazy to think that a tool company watched my hammer gun video and made a more functional version of it.
Yeah.
And we did forget about the weight of the floor and almost made it too heavy to move. And after an hour of moving panels to the top of the hill, we realized we could have just made everything up there. And you would think that with the combined brainpower of a YouTuber, architect, and builder, that this whole build would come together smoothly, and we would be able to get the basics like wall dimensions right. But somehow we either stuffed up the floor or the wall. So we took it back down and weren't pissed off at all.
What's wrong with it? I don't really see the issue. I guess support? Oh. What is he doing?
Throughout this whole building process, there was a constant feeling of everything being completely pointless. Like usually the things I make are useless, but I've never put this much effort into something whose only purpose is to be destroyed. Which resulted in Dan, Liam and I constantly arguing about what to do. I wanted zero effort, Liam wanted it to just stand upright, and Dan thought we were actually building him a real house. We didn't want to break the illusion and tell him we were burning it all down, so we let him do a fancy thing called bird mouths on the rafters. And look, I'll tell you a secret. Some of my other subscribers have been saying some pretty nasty stuff about you. They said, Paul, you're a nice guy, but you're real stupid. And you don't know what a bird's mouth is. They also said some stuff about your sister, but we all know that's true. So Paul, the bird's mouth is this joint right here. And it's for the rafters, so they sit nicely on the walls. And it makes no difference at all. But remember, Dan thinks this is actually his house.
Not correct?
Incorrect.
Incorrect. What's happened? Doesn't reach?
Well, no. Not by a long shot.
So we tried for an hour or two to make one, but couldn't even get one of them right. So we just called it a day and went fishing.
Let's go. Let's get out of here.
Fishing. Ooh. That's a nice spot. Fish.
Look at that. It's the sponsor of today's video, Udo. Udo is an all-in-one business management software that provides entrepreneurs like me with a range of applications to simplify the day-to-day management of their business, including invoicing, accounting, project management, website creation, and more. From your warehouse and other retail points. Also, if you are doing the picking and packing, you can optimize your processes with smart strategies
If you're
such as wave and
interested,
cluster
check out
and
his
batch
link,
picking, as well
I
as
guess.
first in, first out, last in, first out, and average costs. I love that. What about you want to do some real-time tracking? Well, Udo has that as well, and you can stay updated on stock levels, expiration dates, and product movements. With the integrated barcode scanner, you can easily register the incoming stock to the warehouse in seconds, saving you from redundant manual work. So start saving time in your warehouse and streamline the flow with Udo Inventory. Click my link in the description to get started with Udo.
Do
The first
that.
app is free for life with unlimited hosting and support. Okay, day 2, and we're back to doing bird mouths.
Ooh.
And that worked this time. So we cut a billion more and then just slapped on the roof. Then nibbled some tin sheet before slapping that on.
How can you not know if you're circumcised, though?
Pretty sure I am. I just don't want to make my dad feel uncomfortable asking.
And there we go. There was only one more thing to make.
But how do you not know?
Now the
Ooh.
cabin is done.
The hole's a
But
little
I
too
forgot
big for
something
that.
pretty major. There might, maybe, possibly, definitely be a total fire ban. So we can't legally light it on fire. And usually I would do it anyway, but people aren't going to be happy if I set the whole area on fire while making a video about fire safety.
Right.
Which means we're going to have to wait a month for the fire ban to end and also get permission from the fireman. And that's also the end of Liam and Dan. So go check out Liam's YouTube channel where he makes things slightly better than I do on his channel Morosi Makes.
Ooh.
Okay, 1 month later. It's moldy and wet. So we're going to have to dry it out somehow.
Oh no. Is that like a makeshift fan?
The cabin is fairly dry now, so we waited for a non-windy night when my mates were feeling pretty hungry.
There's a chicken in there.
Chicken?
Oh.
Would you like to write anything nice on the walls?
No, I'd like to put that. I'd like to put that over here.
Tell me where you want to put it, please.
Right here. Step ladder into the.
Ruins the shot.
No, it doesn't.
Also, who has a bathtub in their living room with their safe?
Who doesn't?
Not everyone's a rich YouTuber. Some people have to live like this.
So inside the fridge, safe, and bath, I put some chickens, thermometer, and an oxygen reader. And the sensors aren't fireproof, but they don't need to be, because if they melt, we'll know it was hot. And here are my predictions. The fridge chicken is going to be completely gone. Bath chicken is going to boil. And I reckon the chicken in the safe might survive, but will suffocate.
Yeah.
Smells good. Is it going all over your feet?
Is it? Is that enough?
Scissors,
Ooh.
paper, rock. Scissors, paper, rock. Hey, Julie, you got it. You got limited time. Whoa!
And I'm not sure why we had so much trouble lighting this cabin full of petrol, so I tried again with my favorite cocktail.
Ooh.
Whoa,
Yeah, that worked.
Holy.
Ooh.
And place your bets now on what's going to happen to me when I run into the cabin to get the intro shot of me running
burn.
out. A, I get burnt. B, I find a penny. And C, I forgot that I shattered glass on the ground and cut open my foot.
See.
What is going on? Should have put on the.
That's bad. That's really bad.
What?
Oh yeah, he threw a
What?
thing.
The fact that that is filled with glass.
Oh.
Ooh.
Really deep cut on the bottom.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a pretty good cut.
That's a good cut.
Okay.
So after patching up my foot and putting on shoes, we refilled the cabin with petrol and tried again.
Shoes. What in the world?
Is that meant to happen, Jimmy?
Yeah.
I never imagined him wearing shoes.
I think hands the only way. Right?
Whoa!
Ooh.
Whoa! What the?
And you don't need me to explain what just went wrong there, but I'm lucky, stupidly lucky.
Yeah.
I
Ooh.
was like, yeah, you should probably go light it by hand. Oh yeah, I'll be too close to this. 2000.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess nothing's alive in there. Like the chickens.
It's over 600 degrees in there. You can feel the heat from here.
Yeah, it's
Ooh.
hot.
What the?
Gotta watch out for everything around you. I mean, we can't. Wait,
I wonder if the house survives.
should we, yeah, I don't think our water's gonna do anything. We call the wait, grab that, whatever that is down there.
Careful, careful. Holy.
Burn, baby, burn.
Dude, this is not good. Should we just start spraying it?
Alright, the cabin is going up quickly. It was already over 700 degrees Celsius.
Ooh.
And it's so hot that we had absolutely no chance of putting this out, even if we wanted to.
Or
We couldn't
taking a
get within
shot.
10 meters of it.
You're doing a good job.
And you know, previously when I saw the houses of celebrities and influencers burn down, I didn't care. But knowing it could happen to me and seeing how hard it was to control this
Of
small
course.
burn has definitely encouraged me to get some firefighting equipment of my own.
Oh, here we go.
Which is really good that we picked a wet day with no wind. as the fire still seems contained. But if the wind picks up and these embers change direction, we could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So the first thing to go was the roof, which knocked the bathtub through the floor. And I sound like an idiot saying this, but I just couldn't believe how hot the fire was. So I'm changing my prediction. No chicken is surviving this.
Yep.
So after we let it burn for an hour, which is a much shorter time than a real house would be on fire, we started putting it out. And it wasn't looking good for the bath chickens or the fridge chickens.
Water's boiling in the left side, but you just get
Boiled alive.
Oh.
Okay, well that's... I mean, I
don't think you would
need to check on
survive
the chickens
that.
at this point. This is a pretty
I wonder if
certain
it's
thing.
perfectly cooked or
A little bit dumb for ever
still
thinking
edible.
that there might be something to this video at all.
Let me get the plate in there as well. Oh,
actually looks well cooked.
Ooh.
that looks delicious.
Yum.
But it's just
Whoa!
It tastes like lobster.
It's so moist.
And somehow the chickens tasted amazing, even with the
Nice.
aftertaste of burnt towel. But before we open up the fridge and safe, we're going to wait till it cools down in the morning.
Yeah.
The most
that
impressive
is
thing about
steel.
this is not the fire, but the fact that the bathtub fell through the floor and still stayed upright.
Hmm.
How did the bathtub land exactly on its legs?
It like Looney Tuned. And also look, this is the fridge chicken.
Oh, you can see it.
Yeah, look how good that looks.
Wait, pick it up. Oh!
Oh.
so crispy.
Okay, so don't hide in the fridge.
Yeah.
Like in the fridge.
Oh,
That
I mean, it
looks
looks pretty good
Oh,
cooked.
it's a little bit good.
Ooh, you don't know the combination to the safe.
What? The knobs melted. That was metal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What's the combination? Ooh.
Where did the thermometer go? You can't negotiate with a fire.
Yummy.
You just
Now
have
you
to get as
found the
far away
best
from
way
it
to
as
cook
possible.
chicken.
You know, if there is actually a
Just build a
bushfire, the
house
only
and
thing
burn
to
it.
do is get out of there. Because that's the only way to actually stay safe.
Mhm.
But definitely chuck some chickens in the bath.
Right.
Because you'll have the most delicious chicken dinner to come back to.
Mhm. That way you'll have at least something good come out of the fiery house. Some nice chicken. I actually love chicken, so I'm almost tempted to try this. But no, I can't do that. But hope you enjoyed. Check out his video, and until next time, bye-bye.